Yo, yo, yo. What up? Yeah, you haven't seen that, huh? Yeah, there's been some new stuff that's happened, dude. You've been busy. You've been traveling.
You shake weight jam.
What's up, bro?
Booty, baby.
Are pretty funny, Gabs.
How you doing, buddy? Happy weekend, guys. It's good to see everybody. Man, we got video gaming news, as always, for today, September 16th, and then we'll dive into day 3 of AK Oxalotl, baby. Yeah! Yeah, it should be a good day, dude. I need to turn my fan on. It's a little bit stuffy in here, but I'll do it in a second. I don't know how I managed. Slept 15 hours? Bro, that's like stuff I would do when I was a teenager. God dang, dude. 15 hours? You must have really needed it, dog. You've probably just been exhausted. It's been like a lot of traveling, new job, just a lot of stuff going on, bro. You probably just needed it really bad, you know? It's good, though. As long as you feel good, you know? Hopefully you're not, like, getting sick or something. But as long as you feel okay, man, whatever. Probably just needed it. Even waking up. Well, sometimes, dude, it's like that. Like, if you sleep too much, you know, it's almost harder to get up if you sleep too much than it is if you get the, like, not enough sleep sometimes, you know? Yeah. I hope so, too, buddy. Yeah. So I've done a few things. Let me turn my fan on. Hold on, dude. It's really stuffy in here, dude. There we go. That should be better. All right. Sorry. Oh, I've been good, dude. I'm good. Yeah. Thanks for asking, buddy. I'm good, man. I've been, you know, like the past month. It's been like I've just been real busy. It's been just real busy with life stuff, dude. It feels like I haven't had nearly enough time to work on content on like my days off that I've needed to. It's either been like life appointments or, you know, just things have kind of taken up my Wednesdays quite often that I haven't been able to work on content and stuff. But I have gotten, like, you probably haven't seen the new outro yet either. I've got a new outro up. You'll see it at the end of the news segment if you're around, dude. Because I play it at the end of the news segment, and then I play it whenever we finish the stream up too. So I've got a new outro. It's kind of similar to the end of the. I've got to get our new montages done. I've got to get our new montages finished. I'm still working on those. Those just take a lot more work. But I've got those done. I got our badges updated. I don't know if you saw this, dude. But I'll show you this in a second. I updated our this past Wednesday. I updated all the sub badges are now updated with the more fresh, thicker outlined OA logo, and they're updated all the way through 3 years of subscription. Subscriber status. So we now have, like, the timeline had been updated whenever I first did the sub badges. Somebody say montage? Yeah, bro. It's like the longer you stream, the longer your community is active, the more they give you time to put in for sub badges. And right now we only have up to like 3 years worth of time, and I've got sub badges made up for up to like 5 to 6 years or whatever. So I just have to remember to go in there and do it. But like, I know that like Pinky and Syke, and maybe even yourself, I don't know where you're at right now. You're real close there too, dude. Like, people that had gotten like above 1.5 to 2 years worth of sub time, their sub badges were not being updated because I hadn't gotten the 1.5 to 2 year sub badges in there. I think, no, it was the 2 year, 2.5 year, and 3 year sub badges, I think is what it was. But those have been updated now. I actually redid all the sub badges so they look better and stuff. It's just things like that, dude. I've gotten a lot of more of the YouTube playthroughs up, stuff like that. It's a montage. But yeah, I don't know, I'm working on stuff, dude. Sometimes it shows, sometimes it doesn't. You know, it's always nicer whenever the the stuff that I work on the Wednesdays off, whenever that stuff actually shows up and it gives everybody something to take a look at, you know, the thing that you were just talking about, the outro kind of thing there for that 1 year highlight stuff. There's an intro to it too. There's an intro to it if you didn't see that. So if you didn't see it, this is the way it starts. This is the way it starts. Yeah. So kind of similar to the way it ends and everything, you know, but it was just like one of those Wednesdays that I had about, I don't know, a month and a half ago or something, that I was just started working on that kind of stuff. And I kind of like made that. I just kind of made it. But it was like not quite as elaborate of a version of that. And I was like, just messing around, dude. I was just kind of messing around, and I made it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty fun. So I just kept toying around with it until I came up with something that I thought was funny. And so I stuck with it. And so now it's like, that'll kind of be like the way the montage videos start and stop. And then I've got the, like, whenever we finish the news segment, and finish the stream up, I've got an outro that I run for both of them. Because it's a nice segue, you know, because I'm always cutting out the content to put on both the Twitch page and the YouTube page and stuff. And so taking the video gaming news segments and having a nice outro there to like give me a spot to stop those VODs and give somebody, you know, or give a dedicated, like, notable part of the content where people see it and they're like, okay, this is where the end is, but it also has some like stuff in there to just say thanks and the stream times and stuff like that, you know, that makes it easier for not needing to it looks better, don't need to edit on the back end, stuff like that, you know what I mean? I'm always trying to think of ways to make stuff look better and make it a bit more streamlined and intuitive on my side to be able to just cut the VODs and not have to do editing. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. So you'll see it at the end of the news stuff, dude. What are you up to this weekend, man? Oh, wait. Did you say that? When did you say Oktoberfest was starting, dude? Is that next weekend? Oh, it is today? Oh, that's what I thought you said. But I was like, oh, man, maybe I was like mishearing. Maybe you were saying next weekend. Yo, insane. Are you going and getting down, bro? You going and getting down on some of that Oktoberfest? You got those suspenders ready, dog? Going on the last day. Word. Yo, Vault, what's up, buddy? How you been, dude? What's going on? All right, now that I've caught up with my buddy Sayak here a little bit, you know, let's our buddy Sayak. Let's get into the new stuff here, dude. All right. Doing really good, yo. I love to hear it, Vault. Love to hear it. The leader hoes are ready, dude. Let's go. Let's go, dude. That's what I'm talking about. I need to get me some of those, man. Yeah. Cool, man. Yo, Vault, I love to hear it, dude. It's good to see you, buddy. Happy Saturday, guys. It's awesome, man. I'm assuming we'll probably be rehashing some of the Nintendo Direct and PlayStation Direct stuff that's happened over the past couple of days, or happened a couple of days ago, but that's fine. We'll look into a little bit more of it if we need to. We've already hit on a lot of it. We watched the Nintendo Direct Showcase live 2 days ago. We watched the VOD of the PlayStation Showcase yesterday. We've really covered a lot of that content, so I probably won't hit on a ton of it unless people are really interested in something in particular, you know? So let me know. If you are, you want to talk about some of that stuff, then that's cool, man. We'll dive into it. you know. But otherwise, we'll try to stick to some pretty fresh news here. All right. This JRPG looks like the most JRPG to ever JRPG. Interesting. We'll take a look at that. I've already got us a search up right here. Let's do this. Yo, the Unity stuff is... We've really covered that hard over the past few days. Yeah, I think Unity's dead, guys. I don't think they'll be able to recover from this. I'll be quite honest with you. So if you don't know what's going on, where do you find the schedule? Exclamation point schedule, or it's pinned in the main channel of the Discord, bro. I need to update it a little bit. Here, I'll pull it up for you. Yeah. Check it out. I'll pull it up real quick, show everybody. So here's the deal. It's pretty current, besides the fact that we didn't play WrestleQuest right here. I need to update September with the fact that, yes, we've played Fallout New Vegas for the most part, but I am playing AK Oxalotl right now. And I am going to be playing Payday 3 for the end of the month. Basically starting on like the 21st. I'm going to be playing Payday 3 for the rest of the month, more than likely. And then Scaretober. And then Baldur's Gate 3. Right. Exactly after, like, as soon as Scaretober's done, dude, it's Baldur's Gate 3. What I think people need to understand is that, so, keep this in mind. Okay, yeah, dude. How many players is it multiplayer? Because Pinky's already bought in. Is it 4? Or how many people is it? Good question. Pinky's already in. You think so? We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. So, as long as there's more than 2, then yeah, you're in there, dude. No worries. No worries. I know that, you know, some of it will come down to like schedule and stuff like that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre for Scaretober. I would like to. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get it in Vault. The main multiplayer game I'm getting in for Scaretober is going to be Outlast Trials, buddy. Outlast Trials. Davey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? How you feeling, man? So Outlast Trials is going to be the main multiplayer game I'm getting in. If we have the chance to play Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then I'll get it in because I'm kind of interested in it. But Outlast Trials is for sure the multiplayer game I'm planning on playing. So we'll see. And so what I was kind of getting to was here's the thing. Alan Wake was supposed to be releasing on October 17th, and they recently delayed it till October 27th. So we're going to play Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake 2 to finish up Scaretober with, okay? I'm going to play Alan Wake 1 and lead right into Alan Wake 2 when it releases. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take to get through Alan Wake 2. I don't think it will take us past the end of October, because we'll have 5 days probably to get through Alan Wake 2, and that's probably an appropriate amount of time to get that kind of game finished. But there's a chance we might go a day or two into November, so just understand that. If we need to go a day or two over Scaretober or over October's month, the days in October to finish Alan Wake 2, then we'll do that before we start Baldur's Gate 3, okay? The other thing to note here is Pinky is doing everything he can because so my issue with playing games with people, I've come to find out that I'm not a big fan of playing games with people that have already experienced the majority of what a game has to offer. Even though a lot of people most of the people in this community are really, really, really good about not spoiling games and everything. It doesn't change the fact that they still know a lot about the game. They're much... It feels like... it makes me feel almost rushed sometimes. And... it just depends on the genre of game and stuff like that. But it's a more pleasurable experience for me if I'm playing a multiplayer game that has a story to it and a campaign and stuff like that. If I'm playing with people that also don't have a lot of experience in that game, you know? And so I've slowly started to understand that I have a better time experiencing a playthrough whenever I'm playing with people, if I'm going to play it in a multiplayer scenario, when they also don't have very much knowledge of the game. So that's probably the way I'm going to address most of my playthroughs moving forward. And Pinky knows that. Pinky plays a lot of games with me, and Pinky has held off. He played some of the Act 1 stuff in Early Access, but he has not played any more of the game because he knows that I feel that way now. And so Pinky has held off. He's trying to get his schedule, because he normally switches days to afternoon shift, and he's trying to get most of his schedule for November and December apparently switched to day shift so that he can be here for the stream, so we can play this multiplayer most days, right? Okay, yeah, psych. And that's probably around where Pinky is, and that's fine. And dude, I'm doing an evil playthrough, by the way. I'm playing a necromancer. I don't normally go evil in these kinds of games because I find it to be harder to play a good character, but you can be a necromancer in this game. I haven't played an evil playthrough in a game like this in a long time. We will be playing this on the hardest difficulty, by the way, so be prepared for that. So I'm going to be playing a... You started as a necro? Yeah. So that, dude, I'm going to be a necromancer. I'm going to be super evil, and we're going to be playing on a very hard difficulty. If not the hardest, it'll be one of the harder difficulties, but probably the hardest. So just, that's what everybody needs to know. Here's the thing, though. If we start Baldur's Gate 3, and I've given us 2 months to try and get it taken care of, even if we need to take more than that, hopefully we won't, but there will be some downtime for holiday stuff, right? We need to understand that. But I will probably play like maybe some Super Mario RPG, because that drops in November. If there's downtime because some of our other multiplayer personnel that aren't able to make it for some of the playthrough days or whatever, I might just play some Mario RPG, Super Mario RPG or something like that, because that's my favorite Mario game of all time, and I'm hyped about that game's drop. So there's probably going to be days where I end up switching over, because if Syke plays with us, Syke can't make it, or Pinky can't make it, you know what I mean, because of scheduling conflicts or something, you know what I mean? Some of that. So that's just what people need to understand about the schedule right now for what we're doing moving forward and currently, okay? Oh, sick. Yo, here's something kind of opposed to what most developers are doing nowadays. Speaking of Payday 3, the devs have dropped de novo from the game before it's even out. What you often hear are developers going, oh, hey, by the way, our game releases in 4 days and we're putting de novo in it. Payday's dropped it. Interesting. We'll read that. I think Unity's going to die, guys. I think Unity's done. If you don't know what's going on with the Unity engine, and Unity as a company... Yeah, I know, Syke. Yeah. So basically what I've started doing is just like letting the music... I can turn it down a little bit if it seems too loud or whatever. I've just started letting the music kind of play while we find the articles. You know what I mean? We find our articles in the morning, just let the music kind of chill. I turned it down just a little bit just in case. But thanks, yeah. No. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't used to do that, but I've gotten to where it's like, we're just kind of like, while we're going through and finding our articles and stuff, sometimes there can be like lulls where I'll just like sit here and be looking and won't be talking or anything. It'll be kind of quiet. And so I figure, why not just have the music on, you know? So I appreciate it though, buddy. Yeah. So I'm gonna just let the music kind of roll and give a little bit of some nice background noise while we go through and find our articles. And whenever we start getting into the actual all the articles that we find, I'll turn the music off then, dude. Yeah, thanks. So Unity basically came out with these insane kind of fees for all these developers based on the number of downloads your game would have. And there are different thresholds depending on the tier of Unity that you had bought into as a developer. There were all kinds of issues that Unity didn't think through. Then they had to backtrack on it because developers were like, what about this? 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 So it's not a good look. There are a lot of developers like Slay the Spire developers are like well into development of their next game, and it's on the Unity engine, and they've basically said, if Unity doesn't backtrack, we will be moving over to a brand new engine. Doesn't matter how long it takes us to get the game made. This is not a company we want to be dealing with moving forward in any capacity if they stick to the changes they're making. There have been a lot of other developers that have come out and said the same thing. Basically, the developers of Massive Monster, I think the developers of Cult of the Lamb have basically come out and said, as of 1 January 2024, Cult of the Lamb will no longer be available. So, because of Unity, we're going to delete the game entirely. So if you want to own it, you should buy it now because we're going to delete the game. Because as of 1 January 2024, that's when these changes would take effect. And they're like, we're not dealing with this. We're just going to delete the game. Get wrecked. What they would probably do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Vault. Yep. Yeah, it's actually insane. There's the thing that feels bad. This is what's really terrible about it. So if Unity does not backtrack off of what they've done here, it's yeah. Well, so if you already own it, you'll always own it. But what they're saying is that if you want to buy it, you need to buy it now, because after 1 January, if Unity doesn't change their stance on these changes that they're trying to incorporate starting at the beginning of the next year, they're going to make the game no longer available. Basically. Yeah. So if you own it, you own it. They can't take that away from you. You know what I mean? They can't do that. But, you know, this is... they're not the only. I'm just giving you examples. There are a lot of other devs that are in the same boat here as like these devs. Yeah, all platforms, Davey. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, if you own those games or whatever, then you own them. It doesn't matter. You can always download those games if you own them. It's the same thing as like any game. There'll be a lot of games that will end up losing licensing, like. You know, for certain things, there'll be games that get licensing for things like traditional horror stuff. So, like for example, like Friday the 13th stuff. There'll be games that get made with the Friday the 13th licensing, but then they won't be able to renew it for some reason, and they'll come out and basically let everybody know, like, hey, if you want our game, you should get it now because we're losing the licensing, and the game's going to go away. It won't be available any longer. It happened not too long ago to like what it was like Friday the 13th puzzle something game. You know what I mean? But as long as you own it, they can never take that away from you. Even if it's digital, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what platform it's on either. As long as you own it, it's part of your library, then they can't take that away from you. But if they remove the game from being able to be purchased or added to your library, and you haven't done that before that time period, then you can no longer get it, right? That's the difference. Quite possibly, Vault. Quite possibly, yeah. It's basically so it's really scummy. I would just I'll TLDR this for you guys the best I can. There's a lot that goes into it. We've hashed it out over about the past 3 to 4 days. Basically, what Unity has done has come out and they've gone, hey, guess what? We are making changes to anybody, any developer that has ever made a game that is still being pushed out as a purchasable game that was built on our engine. You are going to be charged basically per installation. Now, just think about that for a second, right? Per installation. So, taking that into not purchase, per installation. So that's kind of what it's been in the past, was like you bought into Unity's engine as like a subscription. You bought like a month's worth of subscription to use their engine, build your game, and then you might have had to, I don't know all the contract stuff behind it, but basically what they've done, and here's the thing, there are a lot of developers out there, right, that have built Unity games for charity. They don't make any money off the game at all for purchases. It's free, like free to download. They might make they make most of their money off of like maybe ad space and stuff like that just for charity. Yeah. But the money they make is nothing compared to what they would be charged for the amount of installs. It was like, we saw a couple of examples where it would be like, basically, for a certain number of installs for a charity type game, these companies would be getting charged like $500,000, where they would normally only be making somewhere around $150K to $200K for charity, and then they'd be in the hole all that rest of that money to Unity. You know what I mean? And it's things like that. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration here. Charity type games that are like free to play, any other free to play kind of game that just gets downloaded on the constant. Anybody that has any kind of agenda against a certain kind of developer or company that wants to like start up some VMware, like virtual machines, just a ton of virtual machines, run a script to where all of them just, I mean, because dude, if you guys don't know what virtual machine platforms are, it's basically just a bunch of nested computer operating systems that are like kind of localized inside a machine, like a computer, right? Well, let me get to it, Pinky. Let me get to it. I'm just kind of trying to TLDR this, dude. Give me a second. What's up, buddy? So you could basically just sit there and VMware this stuff, virtual machine, set up a script. If you wanted to, like, because there are people out there that have agendas against games. We see it all the time, right? Review bombing and stuff just for something stupid, like, you know, the main protagonist being a certain race or gender or you know, like, you know, sexual or you know, having a certain sexual preference or something. You know, I mean, stuff like that happens all the time, right? So you would see you would see people try and rack up a bunch of installs against certain developers just as a way to try and like take them down, you know? And now here's the thing. Now what Pinky's talking about is like, apparently charity games are excluded from the payments, right? Apparently. But here's the deal. What Unity is saying, and here, first and foremost, let's be real about this situation. Unity did not come out with anything that addressed any of these potential issues in the first place. Unity came out and was like, hey, these are the changes we're making, and everybody's going to get charged out their asses for every install that happens for every game that's been made on our engine, right? Then there was a bunch of backlash and criticism for all this stuff that Unity didn't have the, capacity to think about in the first place and address and try to put any kind of information out there for people, So all these developers were going, what about this? 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 And then Unity had to backtrack and start addressing that and going, oh, well, and here's the other thing. They're going, oh, well, we have our own proprietary system that's going to keep track of this stuff, right? It'll keep track of the counts and make sure that, people aren't, reinstalling the game on the same hardware or whatever. And this is all stuff that had to come out after they had initially dropped this news, where people started addressing these issues. Like, what are you talking about, dude? People are going to start, and it's still not going to account for the VMware stuff. I guarantee it. So there's still a lot of issues with this, okay? And I'm sorry, but Unity can sit there and say that, they've got all these precautions in place to make sure that what they're doing isn't going to count for like charity games, and they'll ensure that basically it would be like reinstall bombing won't happen and stuff like that. But dude, it's going to. And here's what I think people need to understand. When something like this happens, do you really think that Unity is going to be super concerned with trying to help any of these businesses have to pay less money to them? No way. So if a company is even maybe running a charity game, but they're being charged outside of what they're supposed to be charged or whatever, they're not supposed to be charged, but they are getting charged. Do you think Unity's going to be all over it? Like, oh, let me take care of that real quick for you. You know what I mean? No, probably not. And especially these corporations where, these businesses that are trying to prove that they're getting install bombed and stuff like that from, certain big VM farms or whatever. and they're trying to prove it. How easy do you think that's going to be to prove that to somebody like Unity? Because Unity's not going to be doing anything to help you prove that you don't have to pay them more money, right? You got to be realistic about this situation. So honestly, I think what's happened here is that Unity has shown their true colors. Even if they backtrack off of this, I think a lot of developers have seen what Unity is about now. And even if it doesn't happen right now, they're going to try to push for this in the future. And I think most developers are going to move away from Unity. I don't think they are going to survive this very well. I think most devs are done. Even like Devolver came out and was like, yo, any developers that are looking to have us publish games, you should take a real critical look at what engine you're running your game on. Because they don't want to have anything to do with Unity now. Stuff like that. Nobody wants to have anything to do with them. You know what I mean? So yeah, they have backtracked. They have tried to be very reactive in this situation to addressing all these issues that all the developers have come out with and gone, what about this? 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 But it's not assuaging the fears that people have about what Unity's doing here, and rightfully so. I'm right there with them. I don't think that it should either. It's scary, and it should be scary. This is the thing that sucks really bad too, though. So there are a lot of developers out there that are like in some form or fashion of, varying degrees of project development right now of game development using Unity's engine. And they have a choice to make. Do they just stay in bed with, Unity and just hope that they can survive what Unity's doing moving forward? Or do they bite the bullet, break the game down, build on another engine, and try to soak up the amount of time that would take to rebuild it? It's a tough decision, and it sucks for them. And a lot of them are indie devs too. And it's really, really terrible. It sucks. It's a tough thing to hear. This is basically what's happened, and it sucks. It's terrible to hear, but and again, I think this is the thing. Even if Unity pulls back, and goes, okay, we're not going to do this anymore, I still think developers are going to move away from Unity. I think it's too late. I think most developers have seen what Unity is about now, and they're not going to want to have anything to do with it. Personal opinion, I think that's what's going to happen. It's a bad look, dude. Pinky, happy Saturday, dude. I was just talking about you. Only good things. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I was just talking about Baldur's Gate 3. So, how many players can Baldur's Gate 3 do? Yeah. Yeah, Psych, go see that work too. Yeah. It is for Psych? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, Psych's gonna try to get down on playing the game with us, Pinky. I think that I'm just gonna have to throw this out there that, like, we'll have to talk and try and coordinate schedules and stuff the best we can. You know what I mean? Host +3. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Vault. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So, as we start getting towards, towards the end of October and everything, we'll start. The creep's name is Pinky. We'll start trying to coordinate the schedule and everything. I know Pinky's trying to work on getting on day schedule as much as possible, but I don't know what Psych's schedule is going to be like and stuff either, and so we'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm really going to be looking to play that game as much as possible without very much downtime. So we'll talk amongst ourselves. We'll try to figure out the best thing we can possibly do to get us all into it and everything, okay? But the reason I've delayed playing the game right now is because I have too many other games going on that I didn't want to mix in with Baldur's Gate 3. And November and December were a good time where I could just focus on that game. So I don't want to have a lot of downtime. I don't want to have to take a lot of days off playing it. But we'll just talk. We'll figure it out, okay? We've already got that up. Indie management sim developer hosts saddest Steam sale ever following Unity fee news. Okay. God. Digital Eclipse is remaking the original Wizardry? What? You can play it right now? Sick, dude. Yeah, we've already seen this. This was part of the PlayStation showcase. Helldivers 2 looks pretty cool. It's kind of wild to me. Like, every character in this trailer looks like Boba Fett. It's like a different version of Boba Fett. They all look like flipping Star Wars bounty hunters. But the trailer did look pretty dope. It looks like it could be some fun. So we'll keep track of it for the release next year and see what's up, you know. Oh God, yeah, Lies of P, dude. Is that today or tomorrow? When is that, dude? Oh, it's the 18th. It's the 18th. Okay. I wonder if it's already got Metacritic stuff up. Yo, by the way, Steam Decks are on sale right now too, guys. So, like, you can literally get the top tier model of the Steam Deck for $10 less than what the middle tier usually costs full retail. So, you can check that out if you want. We talked about it yesterday. Let me see this real quick. Lies of negative P. Yeah, dude. Yo, look at the new layout for Metacritic. Metacritic's site looks pretty slick, dude. It's weird though. So it's got an 81 right now. 44 critic reviews. Lies of PP. You guys are wild, dude. It's gonna be a day, isn't it? Here you go, right here. All platforms, 81, 82, 84. That's pretty 84, 37 positive, 4 mixed, and 1 negative. Oh man. Let's look at some. Let's look at the like. Very solid Souls-like. Moody, gothic, bloody, fast-paced. Even if it's not on par. Let's see this. Even if it's not on par with From Software's best works, it's still one of the best Souls-like games of the last few years. Pinocchio meets Bloodborne is a concept about as weird as it's compelling, and luckily NeoWiz delivered with an interesting story, smooth combat, and terrific music. It's a little unpolished around the edges, lacks optional bosses and secret areas, but it's still a strong starting point for a new series. Interesting. Good, dude. I was worried about this a little bit. The premise of it is really, really interesting to me. Yeah. I've been watching this game for a long time through development, and I've been interested in it for a very long time. But just the fact that I haven't really seen NeoWiz do anything else like this was like, you know, because here's the thing. I mean, we see so many flipping Souls-like games, you know. Sometimes they're good. Nobody really does it the same way From does, you know. Let's be fair. Nobody really, you know, From Software developed that formula, and they keep perfecting the formula. They keep making it better. They do a great job with that. And there aren't a whole lot of other companies that really can shake a stick at what From Software does with the Souls, you know, Soulsborne games. But there have been some good ones. There have been a lot of flipping bad ones too, though. You know, there have been some decent, some mediocre, and a lot of bad. And it's always a bit worrisome when somebody tries to take that kind of genre and make it their own, you know what I mean, or emulate what From Software has done. And there's always, I feel like, a bit of worry about that, but it looks like they're doing all right so far. I'm going to look for user reviews. We won't get user reviews until the 19th on Metacritic, 18th on Steam and stuff, so we'll pay attention to see what users are saying as well. But it looks like they might have something decent on their hands there, man. That's great. FF7 Rebirth won't carry over your remake save. We got into, yeah, I was just thinking about this when I was talking about Souls-like 2. Lords of the Fallen, man, coming out in October. I think it's October, correct? Dude, this game looks like a banger. Granted, the previous Lords of the Fallen game was very, yeah, I would say is forgettable, really, for most people. But this game looks really, really good. We saw like an 18-minute gameplay trailer not too long ago, and it just looked fantastic, man. And obviously, devs are going to show you what you want to see, what they want you to see. They're going to show you what is going to sell the game, right? But 18 minutes worth of showcasing just gameplay that looked really, really good. And I'm hoping that it is. It looks fantastic. And I'm really hopeful Lords of the Fallen will be solid. Bro, this is what's crazy. Like, Final Fantasy 14 actually, it's got a monthly cost to it too. And then, like, bro, they sell in-game cosmetics and stuff and everything. It's like, god dang, when does it stop, Square? Jesus. PS Plus free games include major surprise for subscribers. By the way, if you haven't heard this, you know how long I've been talking about Square. I mean, if you've been around the community for a while, you've heard me rant for quite a while doing the news. You know that, like, I've been I grew up being a big fan of developers like Blizzard and Square Enix, and I've fell off the Blizzard bandwagon a long time ago, just seeing what they turned into. And I've been talking about how Square Enix over the past number of years has really looked gross to me. Their valuation is down $2 billion since Final Fantasy 16 released. Now, I think that obviously they've got some more Final Fantasy 7 stuff coming out, like Rebirth and things, and that'll bring their valuation back up. But I think it's kind of inevitable that we're going to see the decline of Square. I don't think it's... They're just not the same company they once were. They don't make the games they used to, in my opinion. Like, I give you a perfect example. Like, Final Fantasy 16 is not a bad game. I think it's a really solid game. I haven't played it. Everything I know about it, I know people have really enjoyed that game. But Square has lost sight of, like, what they used to be, in the fact of, like, they basically took Final Fantasy and stripped everything that makes a Final Fantasy game Final Fantasy with that game. And then they wonder why it didn't sell as well as they were hoping it would, It's because it's not a Final Fantasy game. It's like a Devil May Cry game with a Final Fantasy skin on it. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I think this is just a show of, like, what is happening. What? My spider fell. What's happening with a company like that when they can't see into, like, what has made them successful over time, and they start trying to take, like, a long-running, very successful franchise like that. They can't even see the core of what that game has been, what has always been the core centerpiece of what Final Fantasy is, and what has made people be so in love with a game like that, and they just totally remove it. I don't understand what makes them think that, like, that's a good play, Not only that, but obviously I've been pretty off-put by the fact that they're so publicly adamant about sticking with trying to buy into, like, Web3 crypto games and stuff like that. I mean, they are not moving off of that pivot, dude, and that's a really, really gross thing to me too. I think that's a that it always has been. It was a trend. I knew it was a trend. And it's not that like the NFT stuff doesn't have certain kinds of viability, but it won't work until it's something that's mutually beneficial to the gamer and developers. And it's just not right now. I think Square's kind of going downhill, man. New PS4 and PS5 game is 100% free for a limited time. That's rare on console. Mobile developers revolt as Unity crisis continues. I mean, dude, everybody's reporting on this, by the way. So, like, if you really want to take a dive into this whole Unity situation, it's just like social media, any kind of search you do, it'll be just saturated with the like Unity news, man. I know, Pinky. I know it. Yep. A lot of games are. That's what, I mean, same thing here. Like right here. A game I've been waiting to come out for a while, man, that I'm really stoked about. It's on there. Silk Song. I already have a response, Davey. To that original statement, but I'll wait for you to bring in this next part. We've kind of talked about this a little bit before, too. Unity Technologies rolls out new fees, destroys its goodwill with developers. Yep. No. Well, we've talked about this, Davey. The games haven't stayed the same. And I'll contest what you said in the first statement there. Many people say similar things about the Assassin's Creed series, that it's not like the original AC used to be. My question for any of those people is this. And then you go into the next statement, which I'll address coming up in just a moment too. So, now, Ubi has also gotten a lot of criticism for the fact that Assassin's Creed has moved away, especially with Valhalla, in such a drastic way from what Assassin's Creed was originally. And now what are they doing with Mirage? Literally taking the game back to what it used to be in the first place. Right? Because there was so much criticism from the community of Assassin's Creed fans about how much the game had changed as opposed to what Assassin's Creed was supposed to be in the first place. So I think the thing is this, and we've talked about this. It's not that gamers don't expect games to evolve, because let's be fair. The Final Fantasy, and let's stick to Final Fantasy here. Final Fantasy franchise has evolved greatly over time. But there are core aspects of a game like Final Fantasy that you don't mess with, like the RPG elements. Final Fantasy is traditionally, and what makes it a huge pull for the traditional fans, is it's a deep RPG game. And what they did with Final Fantasy 16 is they took that away. Exactly. And that's what Final Fantasy 16 is too. Right? Final Fantasy 16 is not a Final Fantasy game. It's a different game that they put a Final Fantasy skin on. Right? Yeah. And that's what I'm saying too. I don't think that Final Fantasy 16 is a bad game. That's what I've been saying the whole time. I don't think it's a bad game. I think people that have played that game have felt like it's pretty good. But what Square did poorly was go, we're going to totally change the entire Final Fantasy formula. We're going to strip away everything that people love about Final Fantasy games. We're going to make it something entirely different, and we're just going to call it Final Fantasy. That way people buy it. When what they should have done was made a modern Final Fantasy game with the core aspects of what Final Fantasy has always been, because that's what the people, the traditional fans of that series, that's what they want. That's what they expect. And if you want to make a game like what you made Final Fantasy 16, you want to make a game like that, you make it, and you make it some different IP. Exactly what Vault is talking about. You know what I mean? There's something to be said for not screwing with a series. A long-running IP, you don't take the core away from it. You don't take everything away from it that it's traditionally been. You've got a long-standing fan base there, and you're really messing with that. So it's not that people don't expect a game to evolve, because games, that's part of it. And we understand that. It's like, Final Fantasy traditionally started off, dude, and we're talking, that franchise has been running forever, right? But the game started off as like totally turn-based. And then it's moved into like hybrid style. And nowadays it's more of an action, even before 16, it started getting even more action and stuff. And people kind of adopted to that because that's the evolution of things to an extent, right? But when you remove most of the things about a game, a series that have traditionally made it stand out as being part of that series, it's not that game anymore. It's something entirely different. And if you want to call it that game, all you've done is just throw a skin on it. Like, really, that's what they did. They put the icons in the game, which are summons from Final Fantasy. They put some chocobos in the game, right? And it's a Devil May Cry game with a Final Fantasy skin on it. It's not a bad game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. But it's just not what traditional fans of the series expect out of that, It's the same thing for Assassin's Creed, and that's exactly why they're going back with AC Mirage now and making the game much closer to what Assassin's Creed was in the first place. No, I'm not saying turn-based combat. That's what I just got done explaining. I'm not talking about turn-based combat. I'm talking about deep RPG aspects, dude. The core of what Final Fantasy has always been is, like a good amount of party members, deep RPG aspects of, whether it be like abilities or, like in Final Fantasy VII, it was a lot of materia that you had to level up, and it's a lot of theory crafting and building your characters and having to come up with different ways to combine your parties together. And there's usually a nice long end game where you're grinding out stuff that even after the main campaign's gone, man, you're really, really invested in trying to continue to go through things, get more powerful stuff, fight even more powerful enemies, you know what I mean? And continue to get more loot, level up your stuff, flesh out your characters even more. That's not in FF16, not the way it ever has been in any other Final Fantasy game. You know what I mean? Different party members switching stuff out, all that kind of stuff. It's not there, dude. And that's what I was just saying. It's not about the turn-based combat. That's exactly what I just said. I think the gist of what it is it's a very, very shallow, minimal RPG compared to what Final Fantasy has traditionally been. And that's a turnoff for people that expected a Final Fantasy game. And that's exactly what Assassin's Creed has done as well. They changed the formula too much, which is why now they're going back. Yeah. It was really just like Devil May Cry with Final Fantasy skin on it. And it was a well-developed game. I'm not saying it wasn't. It was a well-developed game. I think it had too much cinematics in it. I don't want to play a game. I don't want to play a, 35-hour game and watch 17, 18 hours worth of cinematics. I don't want that, personally. So that was a turn off for me. But even as good as the cinematics might look, if I want to watch a movie, I'll go watch a movie. If I want to watch Game of Thrones, I'll go watch Game of Thrones. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely something to be said for like really, really nice cutscenes. The immersion that can be added to a game for getting some nice cutscenes in a game and stuff like that. Like I feel like God of War had some really nice cutscenes in it, and it had a good amount of cutscenes and stuff, but nothing like 18, 17 hours of cutscenes. That's a lot, dude. It's a lot of flipping cutscenes, man. I don't know. But some people are going to be okay with that. That's just me personally. Yeah, we got that up. So the whole like combat style of the game and everything, that's what I was saying, Davey, was like people have understood and have moved forward with Final Fantasy, understanding that games change. RPGs have changed a lot. They've changed from that traditional turn-based into like hybrids and more, action combat styled RPGs and stuff like that. And people have grasped that. They've adopted that. That's exactly what I was getting at. Nobody expected it to be a turn-based game or anything like that. That's not what turned people off about it. Unity stuff, dude. It is just everywhere. FF7 Rebirth, PS5 exclusive for at least 3 months. I still haven't even played Remake Intergrade because Square's just so bad at their PC ports. And I'm sorry, but I'm not buying a PlayStation 5 just for the few exclusives that I care about. But I'm hoping with the fact that Sony is much more adamant now. So funny enough, like Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time, and there are a couple of other ones that are up there in like my top. Like one of my other top 5 games would be like Final Fantasy 3 here in the US. It'd be Final Fantasy 6 in Japan. Same game, it's just named something different in both locations, right? Final Fantasy 10, dude, I loved Final Fantasy 10. That's probably one of my top 10, top 15 all-time favorite games as well. But there were definitely some Final Fantasy games that were like a notable mention for me would be like Final Fantasy 1, because that was the first Final Fantasy game I ever played and I loved it. It's just nostalgic for me, I used to play that with my older cousin all the time, and it just has like a special place for me. It's not that it was like necessarily a banger like the other ones were. I mean, it was a very good game. It's a cool game for back then and everything. It's not, it just has that special place for me, But then there were ones like dude, Final Fantasy VIII was absolute balls for me. I hated it, And I haven't played all of them or anything. Played a lot of them, but I haven't played all of them. And so it's not like they've all been great games or anything, you know what I mean? But I have traditionally, like, I mean, because of really Final Fantasy 3 and then Final Fantasy 7 blew me away, dude. Yeah, I hear you, Davey. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to explain like where I'm coming from with it. You know what I mean? That's it. And I think it shows with. I think a lot of other people have felt that way too. And again, granted, dude, I don't think it's a bad. You know, with the Final Fantasy 16 thing, I don't think it's a bad game. I keep trying to reiterate that because I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I don't think it's a bad game. I just don't think it's a Final Fantasy game. And I think there are a lot of other people that feel that way too, because, and I think that shows because their sales are not near what they thought they would be. So Final Fantasy 7 was like the game that, like, I knew it turned me into like, I mean, I was already like a huge gamer at that point, but playing that game changed my life, dude. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Final Fantasy 7 for me was like, bro, got my PS1, got FF7, and I remember like I got it for Christmas one year. Got it for Christmas, and I used to play games with my older cousin all the time, and you know, we set I took it with me to like my grandparents' house. You know, the day I got it, we had to go to my grandparents' house, and me and my cousin sat in this back room all day playing Final Fantasy 7, dude. And I mean, dude, that's the game I think that really like made me the gamer I am. You know what I mean? It changed who. I mean, I don't think if it wasn't for Final Fantasy 7, I don't think that I would maybe be quite as passionate of a gaming personality as I am. I have to give that game credit for that. Yeah, nah. Dude, what was the first? I don't even know what the first game was I ever played. I mean, that would be really popping the video game cherry, wouldn't it? But, oh, Knights of the Old Republic, bro. That was such a banger too. God dang, that game was so good. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy 7 was just something totally different for me, man. It was like nothing I had ever experienced at that point. And it was right then that I played that game and I was like, this is my world, dude. Like this is me. I'm like in my element, man. You know, like this is what I want to do. This is my jam. And you know, it's just it'll forever be my favorite game of all time for that reason. Such a flippin', you know, it makes me very nostalgic, just like in my mind's eye, just being back, like seeing that under the tree and getting to play it that first day, dude, with my cousin. Everything was just mind blowing about it, dude. You know, it was like the first time I had seen curse words in a game. You know, Barrett was like cursing in the game and everything. And it was like, oh my God, dude. Everything about it was just gnarly, dude. It was a very dark game at the time, too. You know, you didn't see a lot of that back then. It was very dark. It was a very dark story. And it was a great story. It was so immersive. Oh, yeah, Vault. Nice. Nice, dude. Yeah. Man, it was just, God, so good. Well, that's what I'm saying, Davey. I haven't even played it yet. That's what I was just saying. So I haven't played it yet because I was planning on playing it. What was it? December of 2021 was when it was hitting PC, I think. And I was planning on playing it then, and Square is so bad at their PC ports that I didn't end up playing it because it was totally broken when it released. And they literally didn't fix it forever. There was a community member, a mod that made a mod that fixed the game. Square didn't even fix it, and I was like, I'm not supporting Square Enix and buying this game, you know. And so I still haven't even played it, dude. I want to very badly because I've heard great things about it, but it's like I also don't want to support Square and being that kind of person or that kind of developer, you know, where I hate that. You know how I feel about that kind of stuff, dude. Like, big shout out to that moderator, you know, or that mod creator that made that mod that made the game actually play well, but Square's, that's just so gross, dude. It took them forever to fix that game. Oh yeah. I mean, it seems like a banger, dude. Yeah, I mean, it seems very, very good. Yeah. I mean, it's the only thing that has really gotten me close to buying a PS5. Really. That and God of War. Yeah. But really mostly that. I was really close to buying a PS5 just because of FF7 remake. Yeah. But I'll probably get into the schedule this coming year at some point, dude, and play it because I really need to. I've just been because of Square, they're terrible at porting their games, and because of my stance on that, I didn't want to like pay full retail for it or anything. I don't want to support Square in being the kind of company they are right now. It just doesn't feel real good to me. So we'll probably play it this year at some point. Probably get it in the schedule, dude. Yeah. My bad that I kind of took the question the wrong way or whatever, or, you know. Oh, Hades 2, dude, we saw the trailer for that yesterday. Oh my god. I'm so stoked for Hades 2. Well, it's not like I don't have console. Like, we have a Switch. I got kids, dude, you know. It's like almost anybody that has kids and they're gamers, it's almost like you have to buy into Nintendo. But honest to God, like if I was gonna buy into a console nowadays, the only one that I really feel like is worth supporting is Xbox. I've felt like that for a couple of years now. Xbox is the least scummy of all. I feel Xbox feels the least scummy of all of them. But they all are scummy, dude. All the console side feels real gross to me, man. And I just don't think I can do it anymore. But I'm sure we'll probably end up getting more Nintendo stuff. You know what I mean? Nintendo has got this whole, like, niche segment on lock, dude. It's hard for people not to be buying into Nintendo stuff. It's really weird. What? Oh, need to replay Hades. Dude, Hades is so... I streamed it really early on in... Yeah, Davey. Yeah, buddy. I streamed it really early on in... whenever I started streaming. Probably within the first, like, 4 or 5 months of me streaming, I think. I did Hades. Game was so good, dude. Last of Us Part 1 is free to download and play. What is this clickbait, dude? Okay. Well, I don't like Gaming Bible. They do too much clickbait article stuff. I'm really stoked too. Again, I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, there's this game coming out called oh god, why can I never remember this? Unicorn something, dude. I always want to say Unicorn Conquest, and that's not it, dude. I can't remember why I don't ever remember the second part of that name. Oh, the double champions? I know what you're talking about, bro. Yeah, dude. Until you like learn how to fight those guys pretty well, yeah, they kind of suck. But once you get them down, it's not too bad. And you got to have some good boons to take them. Usually, if you get good boons, dude, it's not too difficult. Yeah. But Hades is a banger, dude. And the second one's looking really good too. But yeah, during the Nintendo Direct, this I'll pull this up in a second. What is it? Unicorns. What the crap is this? Okay, dude, let's go to Atlas. They announced it. Where is it, dude? It's got to be on here, right? Oh, come on, man. Really? I'll just have to go back to the, What is happening, dude? Yeah, we're right there at it. We'll watch this again real quick. Because if you guys haven't seen this, there's this game coming out next year that is based. It's made by Atlas, and they're the one. They made a game back in the day on Super Nintendo called Ogre Battle, and dude, I was in love with this game on Super Nintendo. So I'll show you guys this, and bro, they're basically making a modernized version of this game that I fell in love with as a kid. And I'm so stoked about it. So I'll like kind of watch it slowly during the new Unicorn Overlord. Yeah, Vault. Thanks. Jesus Christ, dude. I don't know why I keep thinking the second word starts with a C. I'm so stupid, dude. But yeah, Unicorn Overlord. Thanks, buddy. But we'll take a look at this, and I'll kind of like slow it down and dissect it and show you guys what the game exactly is about. Because dude, it's like a modernized clone of what Ogre Battle was, and I'm so flippin' jacked about it. Yo, I'm so glad that Spider-Man 2 is getting released. Because now they can start working on Wolverine. Alright, let's dive into these. I'll kill the music. Oh, we had some Christmas vibes going on this. Nice, dude. Every once in a while, it just goes to like a random like Christmas song. That's pretty nice. We got some like holiday vibes going on this morning. That's fantastic. I didn't even notice. My bad. That's great. PlayStation Plus free games include major surprise for subscribers. The free PlayStation Plus games for September for extra and premium subscribers have been revealed, and they have come with a major surprise for PS Plus subscribers on PS4 and PS5. As they almost always do. The free PS Plus games for September leaked ahead of time. Leak was once again accurate but not complete. One game is missing from the leak, is one of the month's biggest games and one of the month's best games. In addition to Nier Replicant and in addition to Sid Meier's Civilization 6, in addition to 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, and in addition to other games, PS Plus Extra and Premium subscribers on September 19th are getting Planet Coaster, the spiritual successor to Roller Coaster Tycoon from the developers of Roller Coaster Tycoon Frontier Developments, excuse me. If you don't know what this is, watch this. Most people probably know, but the September releases are pretty sweet. The initial releases were terrible, dude. Like Saints Row, Reboot, Black Desert. What was the other one? The initial releases were terrible. But yeah, they've made up for it a little bit here with like these recent ones. I still don't know how PlayStation has felt like they get to raise prices right now with their subscription service. Personally, I find it ridiculous. Oh, baby. Put me in that big old chunky T-Rex suit. Yeah, it was like 25 to 30% more on each tier. Yeah. Yeah. The thing for me is like PlayStation Plus in the version that's out now, which is something fairly comparable to what Game Pass is, it's only been in this version for yeah, Davey. Yeah, no, I know, dude. Yeah, these are better. These are better. Yeah, those previous, the like initial Septembers were balls. Everybody was like, "What is this?" And they raised prices. Everybody's like, "What is going on?" This version of like PS Plus that's kind of comparable to Game Pass has only been out for over a year now. It was May of last year that it got released, right? And they're already like raising the prices that much. And it's like, what makes you guys feel like you should be raising price? And ultimately, here's what it is. They know they have enough people locked in to only playing on their console that will pay it. I think that's what it comes down to, which feels bad. You know, that's terrible. The other thing that I think is really, really gross here is like, because I mean, Game Pass, dude, has been out since like what, 2017, 2018. They've had quite a bit of like bake-in time before they've raised prices. Now they did try to raise prices a number of years ago. They got criticized very heavily for it, and they backtracked and they didn't do it. And so this is the first time that they've raised prices with Game Pass over like what, a 5-year period, 6-year period of Game Pass being out. The big difference between the subscription services, though, is that, like, Game Pass, you get day one releases. Granted, until Starfield, over about the past year and a half, there haven't been a lot of first-party Xbox games to look forward to, other than maybe, like, Hi-Fi Rush. Not many other ones. But it doesn't negate the fact that that is still a huge, huge thing you get on Game Pass over PS Plus. And Sony has been very adamant about the fact they're like, oh, we'll never add proprietary first-party games to our subscription service, you know. But they like raise prices after it's out for a year. I don't understand, dude. It's weird. Yeah, so getting some Planet Coastering, dude. Hey, what up, Cappy? You here for scritches? every time Cappy comes around, I just picture a capybara. Cappies are so chill, dude. I see videos all the time, and they're just like sitting there with their head in the air. And they're just like, their eyes are like half open or they're closed, and people are just like scratching them and stuff. You know? How you feeling, Cappy? Oh, nice, Vault. Yo, that's sick, dude. That's sick. New PS4 and PS5 game is 100% free for a limited time. A new PS4 and PS5 game released yesterday, September 14th, and is 100% free to download and play for a limited time. So you can only download it and play it for a limited time. It's not free forever. It's pretty often games are made free on PC via Epic Games Store and Steam. Not so common on console. Now here's the difference. Usually the games that are free on PC are free forever. You hardly ever get free games on console. And if they are free, it's free to try. Or like free to play for just a short amount of time. Whether it's the Switch, the Xbox One, and the Xbox Series X and S or PS consoles, not often games are made free. If they are, it's behind a subscription service such as PS Plus, Xbox Game Pass, or Switch Online. It's rare, so when it happens, it's all the more notable. To this end, a new release from Total Mayhem Games is completely free, but you will only have until October 13th to take advantage of this offer. After this, the game will revert to its normal price point. Okay, so maybe it is free forever. Mystery Gaming question is, We Were Here Expeditions. We talked about this yesterday, actually. Okay, same thing. Look, I'll link this to you guys. We talked about it yesterday. It's a little multiplayer game. I'm not gonna deep dive into this again, but I didn't know they were gonna talk about the same thing. Here you go. Honestly, back scritches, sign me up, dude. Me too. I'm not very hairy, so I don't have that in common with Cappies, but I'm pretty thick. So hopefully that's enough. I'll just be a thick boy looking for some scritches, you know? The Last of Us Part 1 is free to download and play right now. So yeah, I mean, look, to be fair, that article I just linked, I did talk about it in the news yesterday. So I'm not going to take extended time today to go back over it, but it does look like it is a free game on consoles right now. So that is a rarity. That is a rarity. It's not just free to try for a limited time. It is literally a game that you can grab for free right now, I think forever. So you should check that out if, hey, that is the face I would make if I was getting scritches like a capybara, to be fair, okay? Don't be scared. It's my happy face. Thanks, Davey. So you know, if you, I mean, free software is free software, man. Take advantage of it. Yeah, Cappy, I think that boy, it'd be a great industry all the way around if most companies would stick to that sentiment, wouldn't it? I think it's easier said than done. Let me be fair here. You know, I think what happens to most of these companies is they get riddled with business people instead of gamers, and it's hard to turn back into a gaming minded company first and foremost, or even have a 50-50 split on that front whenever you just turn everything into numbers. And which is what's happened to most of those big companies, right? They've just turned into greed monsters. That they that's all they see are numbers. And they've lost what made them so successful in the first place, which was that creativity and that passion for the games they made for us that were so great in the first place, you know? And it sucks to see that happen, but it's happened a lot. And so it's always brutal to see it, and it hurts too. For all of us that are true gaming enthusiasts, I think it really is like a dagger in the heart to see those devs that you loved so much at one point turn into something like that, like Blizzard for me. I know, you know, I talk a lot of trash on Blizzard, it hurts to see Blizzard be what they've become. You know, it really does. Blizzard was my favorite developer for a long, long time, and but it almost seems inevitable a lot of times that the bigger a company gets, the less likely they are to maintain that drive of being the same developer that they were in the first place. You know, it kind of sucks. Now, so to be fair, I mean, it's not like it's not like it can't happen either. You know, I think Larian is showing us a great example right now of what a giant studio can do. Having a focus on great creativity, a focus on their community and their consumer and their fan base, and making a fantastic standard setting, hugely, massively quality product for the industry, while not incorporating any kind of scummy mechanics and being very successful with it, you know? So it's not like there aren't companies out there that can do that kind of thing. But I think that first and foremost, you have to know that as your company grows, you have to have great people in place at the top of it to ensure that it doesn't turn into something that you don't want it to be. I think I think that's with anything in life. You know, if you're trying to build something, whether it be a business or a community, even something like this, you know, you have to know what you want it to be. And if you want it to stay that way, you have to be committed to that. And you have to be willing to enforce things, even sometimes if it might, you know, might not be super comfortable or whatever, to ensure that things keep trending in that right direction. It's not always easy, and I think a lot of businesses lose their way in that aspect because they just don't have a great basis for it moving forward, as they probably get too big too fast. And I think they just get riddled with like business people instead of gaming minded people too. But I will say this. One of the things that does appeal to me about Xbox is Phil Spencer. I think Phil Spencer is a good business-minded person, but I think he's a true gamer.
Now that we're friends again, is it okay if I pet you?
Thanks, dude. Holy crap, dude! What up, brother?
10win just resubscribed.
Yeah, I know, dude. We touched on that yesterday, 10win. I was name dropping you yesterday, bro. Yeah. Yep.
Also,
I appreciate the link, dude. We talked about it yesterday though, so I won't address it today. So yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Yeah, Rogue Trader will actually probably be. I was saying this yesterday. Will probably be the next kind of CRPG-ish styled game that I play after Baldur's Gate 3. Unfortunately, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 through November and December. So, sub grandpa. Yeah, dude. Yo, Timwin, by the way, dude, I know your sub badge isn't showing in chat right now, but all the sub badges have been updated, dude. So I think like yours and Pinky's and like maybe a couple of other people's were a little bit behind, but they've all been updated now. So you guys should be good. They've been updated with a more the better looking OA symbol and everything too. Like I spent a lot of time on Wednesday getting those all done up. So I'll probably show you guys that after we finish the news. I'll just show you like the big version of it and stuff. But yeah, thanks for letting me know, dude. I appreciate it. I was name dropping you yesterday because I knew that you had been playing that game kind of in the development, during the development and everything. So the Rogue Trader looks awesome. I was actually telling everybody too. I was like, I don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, Timwin, but you weren't a big fan of the Pathfinder games, right? you weren't a big fan. We've talked about this quite often, I think, which is Owlcat are the ones that developed Pathfinder. Owlcat is also the developer that's making Rogue Legacy, but apparently Tinwin really is enjoying Rogue Legacy, which I think is, or Rogue Trader, I mean, not Rogue Legacy. Rogue Trader, Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. Yeah. Weird to you at best, yeah. Oh, Davey, suck, bro. No, stay with us, dude. No, Davey, don't go. Davey! Yo, be safe, dude. I get it. I understand. Have a good day, bro. I appreciate you, brother. Be safe. Yeah. That's what I thought, Tinwin. Yeah. But apparently Tinwin's really been enjoying Rogue Trader a lot, which I think is a good sign that Owlcat has, made some solid changes to their recipe for what Rogue Trader is becoming over what maybe Pathfinder was for a lot of people, And I'm excited for it. I really am. I've never been a big Warhammer guy. I've dabbled in it here and there. But that game looks sick, dude. I'm really stoked about it. And I won't get to play it on release because we'll be in Baldur's Gate 3, but I probably will be playing it sometime next year. So I'm pretty stoked. And I appreciate you making sure I was aware. And thank you for the 25-month Subarooski, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll just show you guys real quick. Check it out. So here's the deal. Sub badges were a little bit behind. They were also an old version. They had our old OA icon in them. So this is what I did with it. So obviously, your initial sub just starts off as like this, right? That's the initial sub badge, right? It's just the OA icon. And then 6 months turns into this. And everybody can see, like, this is the new icon. It's got nice, thick outlines on it and everything. Right? Random mode time, sick. Then 12 months turns into that. 18 months, you get that. 24 months, there's the third. 30 months, there's your fourth tentacle. 36 months, 42 months, 48 months, 54 months, and then after that, we'll probably start adding some other colors, maybe some like effects in here or whatever. Cool. But the badges have been updated. They were a little bit behind because as the channel moves forward, we get nice. You guys are wild, dude. Flipping random mode. Here we go. Let me get mine in here. Gross. Because as the channel moves forward, it's not just opened up for like a wide time frame of sub badges. It's like as the channel gets older, we get a little bit more sub badge time to add in there. So I have to remember to go in there and add them in every once in a while. But it's all been updated. Everybody it should have your badges for your sub time and everything. So sorry if it wasn't current for you. I know we have some longtime subscribers again that weren't quite current, and you should be good now. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Sorry for it being a little bit late. $25 flipping months. What can we possibly say about The Last of Us that hasn't already been said 100 times? It's a masterpiece, beautifully written and expertly performed, with plenty of nail-biting, tense set pieces that run the gamut from action-packed shootouts to claustrophobic escapes from fungal terrors. Remade from the ground up for PS5, Last of Us Part 1 is probably the definitive way to experience the classic. Vastly improved graphics make it arguably the best looking game on the console, while a huge range of accessibility options open the adventure up to a much larger audience. The good news for those of you who aren't sure about dropping another 70 pounds on a game that first came out in 2013 is that you can currently check it out for free if you are a PS Plus Premium member. There's your caveat. The Last of Us Part 1 is one of the many PlayStation games available via the Game Trials feature. You can play through the first 2 hours of the game. That's more than enough time to smash through the opening few chapters, where you'll lose Sarah, meet Ellie, and generally have your heart broken. If nothing else, a good opportunity for you to see just how much better The Last of Us Part 1 looks without having to drop a huge amount of money for the privilege. Does look noticeably better. Make sure you don't miss out. Here you go. 10-win, happy flippin' Saturday, bro. Here we go. This is actually a nice change from what we see from a lot of developers nowadays. It's kind of the opposite. Payday 3 developer drops Denuvo from the game before it comes out. Make a Pathfinder stream just because all the games have a lot of issues. Customization's impressive. Yeah. So many classes, subclasses, bonuses, abilities, buffs. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, Jesus. Probably so, dude. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not out of the question. I think I actually own one of them already. There's just, it's such a struggle, dude, to get all the games I want to play into the schedule, but we'll see what we can do moving forward, dude. That's funny. Yeah, you know me too well, bro. Yeah, guys, we're going to do a 3-day stream of just character creation for Pathfinder before we start playing the game. Here we go. Payday 3 developer, Starbreeze, right? Drops Denuvo from the game before it's even out. We're going to be playing this starting on the 21st. It's common practice for PC games today to launch with Denuvo and quite often announce it right before they launch. A form of DRM designed to stop the spread of pirated copies of games, and it's also common practice for developers to remove Denuvo several months after launch as interest, and the risk of piracy dwindles. Less common is a developer publicly announcing it's removing Denuvo from a game before it's even out, but that's the surprise Starbreeze pulled this Friday. Quote, "Hello, heisters. We want to inform you that Denuvo is no longer in Payday 3. The developer wrote in a post on Steam on Friday. It's pretty much the whole message, short and to the point. It's seemingly a win on the goodwill front, with the Steam post racking up 524 thumbs up on Steam so far and another 10,000 or so on Twitter. Payday 3 is less than a week away from its September 21st release, and Starbreeze is clearly looking to roll into the launch with an excited community behind it." Yeah, 2 months ago, a thread on the Payday Heist subreddit called out the inclusion of Denuvo, and the responses were characteristically negative. This afternoon, one of the game's developers responded to that thread to highlight that Denuvo has been removed. Denuvo has had a long reputation for hindering performance in games and bloating their executables, though the company behind it, Erdetto, insists that isn't the case. Yeah. We read about this right here, too. This summer, they announced a plan to provide media outlets with 2 versions of games, one with Denuvo included and one without, to prove it has no impact on performance. Whatever the result, it likely won't change the opinions of those who dislike DRM for making game modding harder and rendering games unplayable when authentication servers go down. As Payday 3 fans pointed out 2 months ago, the game already requires players to be online and use a Starbreeze account, making Denuvo seem like an unneeded extra layer of security. Word. Cool. Nice. Indie management sim developer hosts saddest Steam sale ever following Unity fee news. An indie developer known for creating management sims has created the saddest Steam sale ever following the Unity fee news. As spotted by Wario64 on Twitter, developer Carosoft, known for Game Dev Story, has released a new bundle for its games on Steam titled Carosoft Games Are Made in Unity, along with 2 tearful emojis on either side of the bundle's name. If you scroll down to the 4 game bundle's description, you'll also find just another crying emoji and nothing else, which makes this saving really sad. The actual name of the bundle has crying emoji in it. Earlier this week, game engine developer, we talked about this, Unity is basically throttling everybody with their scummy tactics. Some of the more notable reactions we've seen include Cult of the Lamb developer Massive Monster, which I talked about earlier this morning, shortly after the changes were announced, tweeting that players should pick up their game before the new fees come to place, as they will be deleting their game on January 1st. Like I said, this appears to be a joke and not an actual set-in-stone plan, but it still shows the outrage the indie developer is feeling. We'll see what happens. As well as this studio, the developer of anticipated Souls like Aggro Crab also released a statement calling the changes short-sighted and adding, "I flip and hate it here." Following the reaction to its changes, Unity issued a statement, but this did little to solve the backlash the company continues to receive. Again, not only that, I mean, there have been a lot. Even the developer behind like notable games like Slay the Spire have basically said that like we are going to be taking our game to an entirely different engine. They're making a new game right now, and apparently they're well into development. And they're like, we're not going to be using Unity anymore. We're done. This is not worth it. So they're willing to just incur the risk and cost of moving their entire project over, starting from scratch on a new engine to get away from Unity. And a lot of developers feel this way. It's really gross. Digital Eclipse is remaking the original Wizardry, and you can play it now. What? Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord launches in early access today. What? Bro, this is like some Apple IIe stuff, dude. This is 5-inch floppy disk stuff, bro. Bro. What? I love these old dungeon crawlers, man. Eye of the Beholder. God, I loved the Eye of the Beholder Dungeons and Dragons games, dude. They were so good. Vampire rabbits. Yo, that's sick. Surprise, like a dual-wielding rogue pouncing from the shadows, Digital Eclipse has simultaneously revealed and launched a remake of the original Wizardry. To afford the game its full title, Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, was one of the first computer RPGs and the first to feature party-based play. Released in 1981, Wizardry spawned a series ran for 20 years, with the final entry thus far, Wizardry 8, releasing back in 2001. In a press release, Digital Eclipse explains the remake has been in development for 2 years and is built directly on top of the original Apple II, dude. Like I said, yeah, Apple II's game code. That's insane, man. While structurally faithful, the remake is nonetheless a full overhaul with completely modernized visual presentation, a redesigned interface, a new method of party management, and changes to navigation, spellcasting, and combat. Sick. To be clear, the game is launching into early access rather than as a finished product. On the game's Steam page, Digital Eclipse states the entire core of the game is playable, and that the early access period will focus primarily on additional environment and object textures, audio elements, and character animations. Alongside updating work-in-progress game assets, Digital Eclipse also mentions they will use early access to explore adding text localization, a guide to in-game enemies, and other features we believe will benefit players. The game is available now on Steam and GOG. You can watch the game in action in the trailer above, which shows, yeah, we saw that. And GOG, that's cool, man. This is actually a great game for GOG because no DRM, right? But let's take a look at this real quick. $30. Interesting. It looks good, dude. 94% positive, 18 reviews right now. That's pretty sick, man. It's so weird to see, like, they showed, like, the old Apple II gameplay. God dang, dude. That's some crazy stuff, man. That's very neat. There's a Sega sale right now. What? Oh, the Persona games, man. Yo, look at this. Have you guys seen the Total War Warhammer stuff? Have you guys seen this? The recent reviews. Just over the past 30 days, 12% positive of over 7,300 reviews. They're getting wrecked. I've talked about it. If you don't know what's going on, let me know. We can flesh it out a little bit. But, dude, Creative Assembly is getting destroyed by their community right now. It's pretty brutal. So TLDR is they basically raised prices on a bunch of their DLC, and new DLC came out with even not nearly as much content, apparently, as the traditional DLC had been coming out with. And instead of being proactive in the situation and just like addressing the community about it in the first place and being like, yo, we need to raise prices. Here's what's going on. You know, things are getting more expensive for us. We need to make the DLC a little bit more expensive. This is why. Da, 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 da. They just did it without saying anything to anybody. And then tried to react to all the criticism on the back end. And they're just getting destroyed for it, dude. So instead of being proactive, not that they wouldn't have still maybe caught a little bit of strife for it and everything, but if they would have just been, I think, here's my opinion. If they would have been proactive about it and just talked to the community first and been like, look, here's what's going on, you know, in the first place. This is a big deal, dude. Talking to your fan base, talking to your consumer base, letting them know what's going on and what might need to be happening with the game moving forward and things like that. I think that plays a big part in the way that your consumers and gamers address you as a company, you know? Right, exactly, Pinky, exactly. So that's basically your TLDR, dude. That's what went down. And they're getting absolutely throttled for it. I mean, you can go look at the reviews. I'll link it for you. Go take it. But I mean, you can see it's taken them down just over the past month. Again, over 7,300 reviews at 12% positive has taken their overall of almost 62,000 reviews now to a 62 for Total War Warhammer 3. But here's your share. You can go take a look at all the reviews and stuff you want. But that's basically what went down. We read an article about it about 3 weeks ago, I think. 2 to 3 weeks ago. It's pretty brutal, dude. Yeah. But Persona games are on sale, dude. Those are supposed to be bangers. Sonic Frontiers is actually supposed to be pretty good too, man. What is this reviewing at now? That's really good, dude. 93%. This game has a 93% rating. I didn't expect that from this game, I'll be honest with you. Did anybody play this? Anybody play Sonic Frontiers? I'd heard this game's actually pretty solid. And it's reviewing really well, too. That's cool. Like a Dragon. Let's go. Humankind. There we go. Dude, Humankind's $10, Tinwin. Tinwin's played Humankind. He enjoys that quite a bit. It's got a mixed rating overall, really. 67%. Probably why it's $10. There's your Endless Dungeon, which we got to play. Shout out to Tinwin. Thanks, buddy. The Persona games. All the Humankind stuff. Like a Dragon stuff. Okay, cool. I just want to see what was in there real quick. Wizardry. This is pretty dope, man. If you guys want to watch that trailer again, I'll link it. This JRPG looks like the most JRPG to ever JRPG. Saga Emerald Beyond might just be the most JRPG of all flippin' time. As well as a real glut of Mario games yesterday's, this was 2 days ago now, Nintendo Direct featured an impressive collection of JRPGs, but while that might be par for the course for Nintendo, one of those games looked like the most JRPG-ist JRPG of all JRPG timing JRPG. All right. That would be Saga Emerald Beyond from almost the first frames of its trailer. which you can check out below. I was struck by just how clearly it attached itself to the trappings of its genre. Start with the key art, which you can see in the image of the top of this article, which features the painterly art style and chaotic roster that feels to me like peak JRPG. Okay, let's take a look real quick. I'm getting sick of saying JRPG.
A multi-layered RPG full of rich stories awaits in Saga Emerald Beyond. There are 6 heroes to choose from. A young man who fights with sentient puppets. A witch disguised as a schoolgirl to mask her identity. A crime-fighting duo chasing down a mysterious organization. A songstress mech who lost her voice and body. And a king of
Well, I know
darkness
Thick Boy,
who was
though.
recently
You know what I'm saying? Well, I need representation in these anime games, dude. These JRPG games.
Interconnected worlds as they strive to achieve their goals. How the story unfolds is in your hands. The choices you make can unlock different paths, more than ever before seen in the Saga franchise. Fight in timeline battles, turn-based combat in which turn order is crucial to victory. Use special techniques to control the order of actions, or activate team combos to swing the tide of battle in your favor.
No big deal. We're just
Saga
battling a
Emerald
monster.
Beyond
I'll just lay down on the
launches
ground here.
Nintendo Switch next year.
All right. I'm not the world's most preeminent JRPG expert, but I'm told this is pretty much what Saga is known for. Still struck by just how much of a JRPG this is. Far from a bad thing, classics are classic because people like them, and attempts to recapture those ideas are just as important as a desire to push genres forward. If that sounds like your jam, Saga Emerald Beyond launches on Nintendo Switch next year. Cool. Look, this is the last thing I'm going to go over right now. Or this is the last thing I have. Yeah, that's peak JRPG, yo. If anybody has anything else to add, let me know, and we can discuss it and flesh it out for the news before we move on and play some more AK Axolotl today, okay? I did not expect this at all out of the Nintendo Direct. I don't get real hyped usually out of Nintendo Direct stuff. There's not usually a lot of stuff that piques my interest. But like Super Mario RPG, when that first got announced, super hyped about that. I legit thought this was going to be called like some spin-off of Ogre Battle. There was a game way back in the day for Super Nintendo called Ogre Battle for Super Nintendo. And they made like some for 64 and stuff too, I think. The March of the Black Queen. This was a 1993, dude. Here, hold on. That way we know we're getting the right one here. And I'll show you a little bit of like some images of this and stuff. So you can see like this is what the game was. It was kind of like an auto battler a little bit. So you managed these basically like an army, right? You would go to these different maps. You could manage these armies. You would start off the game and it would do like this tarot card reading thing. And that's what would determine, you would answer all these questions. It would pull out random tarot cards. Each tarot card would have a different kind of question. And depending on the way you answered the questions and everything, it would determine what your main character was. And the main character, you got to like name yourself and all that. And it would put it into a squad like these, right? And the squads, you end up acquiring more squads, and you can mix and match the squads. You got all kinds of different like beasts and basically units, right? Anything from like hellhounds to like beastmasters to Amazons and wizards. And the more they fight, and it's crazy because they all have different types of terrain that they're good at moving across, depending on what types of units are or what types of units are in that squad, I guess, right? And so like this one would probably be good at like mountains. This one's probably good at plains. There's like a cleric in there. Maybe forest because of the Valkyrie right there. This one's going to be flying because of the Griffin. So and there's just all kinds of there's like big octopus and stuff that are in the game, so they're good at like water. And the bigger units take up more spaces, right? So like a Griffin takes up 2 spaces, whereas like each of these units only takes up like 1, right? These units take up 1 space. All of these units take up 1 space, but like the Hellhound takes up 2. So you can only fit 4, like 1 Hellhound and 3 single-spaced characters, right? Stuff like that. So there's a lot of strategy that would go into like making the different types of units, and as the more they fight, the more experience they get, and then they can like kind of evolve into better forms of different trees and stuff, I guess. So like the little like, what would they call these guys? I can't remember. Yo, dude, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're enjoying that game. These guys could turn into like ninjas, or they could turn into something else as well. Like all the characters, the more they experience they got, they could like evolve into different tree lines or paths of evolution, depending on what you want them to be, and they would get different skills and stuff like that. But basically, you would create these different units, you would send them out, you'd start each map with, and it's all got a story to it. You would start off with a map, and you would have to basically direct these units where to go on the map. You would have to like liberate cities, take on enemy units that would be coming at you too, and then they kind of like just auto battle each other, right? And depending on the experience level, what units were good against other type of units or bad against other type of units is what would win and what wouldn't win. And if they got defeated, they would automatically have to, like, if the lead, because each unit has a leader, if they got defeated, they would have to go back to the base, and it would take them an amount of time before they would be able to be like redistributed out into the battlefield and stuff. It was really, really cool, man. And you actually got like, there'd be secret locations on the maps that you could find, and sometimes it would be like hidden cities. Sometimes it would be like you'd find hidden pieces of armor or weapons and stuff like that to equip on your characters that would be powerful, stuff like that. It was a really, really cool game. Even though it was an auto battler, which I'm not normally all that thrilled about, just the strategy aspect of managing all of that stuff was really, really fun to me, and I really enjoyed it. And then we're watching the Nintendo Direct the other day, and then this game comes, and it's an Atlas game, which is what Ogre Battle was as well. And it literally is like a modernized version of what Ogre Battle was on Super Nintendo. So I'm like losing my mind right now about this game. I'm so psyched. So take a look at this.
Your destiny.
'Tis a grievous tale which speaks of Fevrith, one of stolen destiny, stolen minds, and stolen nations. Yet as the world stands consumed by immense evil, a fallen prince shall rise again, ring of legend lighting his path.
So this is like one of the maps, right? It'd be part of the story and the campaign and everything. These blue units are going to be your units that you're sending out from like your main, but you've always got like your little map up here so you can see an overview. Oh, here, let me turn my camera off. So you've got a map up here. You see your overview of like where their units are, their cities are, your city or base is, where you're sending units to try and cut them off because they're trying to get to your base and kill your base and stuff like that, right? All that kind of stuff.
That is the ring of the unicorn.
And then when they get in proximity of each other, you engage, right?
Legend speaks of your ancestors wielding it to purify evil.
And you can see right here, it's showing these two about to go at it. This is what their unit, their squad consists of. That would be their leader. This is what your squad would consist of, and that's your leader right there for this squad specifically.
Yet the answer is clear as day now.
The battle looks great, dude. Like the battle scenes and everything looks really cool. You can see all the different unit types in here and stuff too.
Freely traverse an expansive world. Gather new allies, forge your bonds, and lead the liberation.
Dude, holy crap. Did you see that snoo? Jesus, I didn't see that before.
Gather new allies, forge your bonds.
Snoo! God dang, dude. Beat me up, dude. Alright, sorry.
Bonds and lead the liberation to glorious victory. Cultivate a grand army with over 60 unique.
So quite often what would happen is like you'd beat like
to massive
some of the enemies you would beat and you would just destroy them. Some of the other enemies you would beat and like convert them over to your side and stuff. I'm sure that the like story has part to do with that. The choices made. So oh my god, that food looks so good. These are things that weren't part of. Some of this is part of like this game that wasn't part of Ogre Battle and stuff. But I'm so psyched about this, man.
Of tactical fantasy RPGs. Unicorn Overlord. Available March 8th, 2024.
March 8th. So this is going to go on my schedule. I will be playing this. Very, very excited. If you guys didn't get to see the Nintendo Direct, that's basically what this is. That's literally what this is. It's the VOD of the Nintendo Direct. So you guys can watch that if you want. But that's the news. I've talked about the Unicorn Overlord stuff a number of times here, and I'm just really psyched about it. I don't normally get too much out of Nintendo Directs that get me really jacked up. And so I've just, I can't help but bring it up the past few days, dude, for the news segment stuff. But that's the jam, dude. You guys rock. Appreciate you. Happy flipping Saturday. I hope everybody's weekend's going very well. We're going to go play some AK Oxalotl for the day. Play some more bullet hell roguelite action. Dude, it's fun. There was an update, too. We'll probably take a quick peek at the patch notes before we start playing and see what's going on. There's a little bit of wonkiness in the game. It's fresh. It's new. That's to be expected a little bit sometimes. So it feels pretty good for the most part. There's some weird hitbox stuff sometimes. I get way too many grenade launchers, it feels like. There's just a little bit of wonkiness to it, but for the most part, it feels pretty good. So we'll see what the patch notes say, and we'll get in there and we'll play some more of the AK Oxalotl stuff today. Okay. I don't know if anybody's getting to check out the news segment this morning, and you're not familiar with our channel. This is what we do, man. We stream 6 days a week. We take Wednesdays off, but 6 days a week we're live at 6 a.m. CST CDT. We always begin our streams with video gaming news before we segue our way immediately afterwards into whatever gameplay we have planned for the rest of the day. Normally live for roughly 8 hours a day, 8 to 9 hours a day, and it's just a bunch of us loving the world of video games and spinning it together, trying to stay current on what's going on in the industry and having fun playing games together, man, and just trying to cultivate a community of good people, enjoying each other's company and lifting each other up and being here for each other whenever people need it. You know what I mean? So if this is the type of place that seems like it's for you, you know, we've got all of our previous video gaming news segments and all of our previous gameplay and all that stuff, clips and highlights, all that noise is out there on the Twitch channel for people to go take a look at if you've missed any of it, as well as the YouTube channel. But we're always here, again, 6 days a week. We're always looking for more cool people to be a part of our community, and so come hang out with us when we're live. You know what I mean? We're always looking for more cool people to be a part of what we do. Other than that, guys, again, happy flipping Saturday. I hope that your weekend continues to go very well. We're going to go play some games. So other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. And I can't wait to do some more video gaming news with you tomorrow on September 17th. All right?
Bye.